Let us bring in Kristen Welker now, moderator of Meet the Press, for more on her exclusive conversation with President Trump. Kristen, good morning to you. A number of questions here, Kristen. First of all, how long, who's in charge, and what role will the United States play in Venezuela? What did the president tell you about those three questions specifically?
Well, Craig and Chanel, President Trump said a number of his top officials will be involved in overseeing Venezuela, from the Secretary of State to the Vice President. But when I asked him who ultimately is in charge, he said me. Now, it was also notable, despite those initial tensions with the interim president, President Trump said, quote, "I do get the sense that they're cooperating. They need help." Another key takeaway, he gave me new insight. You talked about the timeline, Craig, into his thinking about the timeline. I asked him if elections could be held within 30 days, and he said, no, it's going to take a period of time. We have to nurse the country back to health. So really seeming there to try to brace the U.S. for the possibility there could be a bit of a prolonged presence.
Speaking of timelines, you also asked the president about whether he has his sights on other surrounding countries. What was his strategy and timeline on that going forward?
Yeah, great question, Chanel. Well, the president wouldn't give me a specific timeline in that regard. He did, though, make it very clear that he's watching countries like Cuba and Colombia very closely, sharply critical of those countries' leaders and rampant drug trafficking. Now, on Cuba, he said he thinks the country is so unstable it could actually fall on its own, largely because Cuba relies so heavily on Venezuelan oil. And perhaps most notably, I asked him if he's serious about his threats to take Greenland, which is, of course, a territory of Denmark. Gabe just talked about that. He told me he thinks Greenland is very important for the national security of the United States, Europe, and parts of the free world. The Danish prime minister says any move to take it would bring an end to NATO and post-World War II security. So really firm words there.
Hey, Kristen, what has been the fallout so far with regard to our action there in Venezuela, the political fallout?
Well, it's so interesting, Craig, because remember, President Trump campaigned on an America First agenda. Some Republicans, including outgoing Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, saying this really runs counter to his promise to focus on domestic issues. Now, in a snap poll conducted by Reuters in the aftermath of the military operation, 72% of Americans say they worry the U.S. will become too involved in Venezuela. I pressed the president on whether he's concerned this could hurt him with his MAGA base, and he simply said, quote, "MAGA loves me. MAGA loves everything I do." Of course, the midterms looming large over all of this and the political implications. Craig and Chanel.
Kristen Welker, moderator of Meet the Press. Kristen, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.